We tend to lose sight of the fact that our favorite stars are just like the rest of us human beings who have joys and sorrows in life. Ron Howard, the adored filmmaker and ex-actor, has dropped some bombshells that have stunned admirers. It is easy to forget about the silent battles he has been fighting as a filmmaker who has spent decades making amazing stories. So in this video, we're going to explore Ron Howard's devastating confession and the difficulties he's encountered off-screen. The life and career of Ron Howard in show business is an inspiring account of skill, grit, and change. The worlds of acting and filmmaking have always been entwined with Howard's life, which began on March 1, 1954, in Duncan, Oklahoma. The stage was laid for Ron's future career in show business by his parents, Rance Howard and Jean Spiegel. Howard's family tree contains members with German, English, Scottish, Irish, and Dutch ancestry, among others. His versatility and broad appeal as a director and actor may have been influenced by his varied background. Contrary to popular belief, Howard has changed his name. Howard was his stage name in 1948, although his father was born with the surname Beckenholt, an important choice that would influence the future of the family. The early years of Ron's life were shaped by his father's military career in the U.S. Air Force. He may have benefited professionally from the discipline and work ethic he learned in the military. Growing up, Howard received both classroom instruction and one-on-one help from teachers on set. Robert Louis Stevenson Elementary, David Starr Jordan Junior High, and John Burroughs High School were among his frequent Burbank, California schools. But his education also included tutoring sessions at DeSilu Studios, which shows how he had to find a unique way to manage his academics and his growing acting career. Howard went to USC for his cinematic arts education, but he dropped out before graduating to gain experience in the field. In 1959, Ron Howard had his first film credit in The Journey, marking the beginning of his serious acting career. From there, he showcased his flexibility as a young actor by appearing in a number of television shows. Dennis the Menace, The Twilight Zone, and The Many Loves of Dobie Gillis were just a few of the notable shows in which he appeared. Howard benefited from the exposure and experience he gained from his early outings. On the other hand, Howard's breakout performance as Opie Taylor on The Andy Griffith Show catapulted him to stardom. Howard played Opie, a character that came of age in front of American audiences for 8 seasons beginning in 1960. In contrast to the turbulent 1960s, the show's innocent, classic charm brought viewers comfort and nostalgia. Working on The Andy Griffith Show had a profound impact on Howard. On his very first day on set, at the tender age of 5, he was assigned the duty of making a toy turtle look like a genuine dead turtle. Howard would benefit much from this early acting lesson, the capacity to depict something that isn't real during his career. Howard shifted into the teenage parts as he matured. He landed the role of Richie Cunningham on Happy Days after appearing on Love American Style. From 1974 to 1980, Howard was a teen star because to this role. Howard, in his role as the suave Richie, created a tension that would be defined by Henry Winkler's defiant Fonzie. Howard kept acting even while he was on Happy Days. He played the role of lispy Kid Winthrop Peru in the 1962 film version of The Music Man. 6 nominations for Academy Awards attest to the film's critical and financial success. As a young actor, Howard displayed even more versatility in 1963's The Courtship of Eddie's Father, in which he also starred. In George Lucas's 1973 film American Graffiti, Howard played the character of Steve Bolander, which was one of his most notable cinematic appearances. Both viewers and critics found meaning in the film's coming-of-age plot. In addition to being a fantastic picture, Roger Ebert lauded it as an outstanding piece of historical fiction. Since Happy Days was based on the film American Graffiti, Howard's performance in the former set the stage for his character in the latter. Howard maintained a steady schedule of film and television roles throughout the 1970s. He was in The Waltons and co-starred in The Shootist with John Wayne. Howard was able to develop as an actor and get exposure to various forms and genres because to these varied parts. Ron Howard's goals started to change as the 1970s drew to a close. He decided to take on the role of director after spending years acting. He was excited to get behind the camera and put his experience as an actor to use, since it had given him a special insight into the filmmaking process. It was the beginning of a new and revolutionary chapter in Howard's career, one that would lead to his ascent to the position of revered filmmaker in Hollywood. But he had no idea the weight of responsibility and the demands of becoming a director would fall on him so suddenly. The shift from actor to director was a watershed moment in Ron Howard's career, paving the way for him to become one of the most lauded directors in Hollywood. This alteration was more than simply a title change. An important step forward for Howard's narrative style and career in show business, it was this. The low-budget comic action picture Grand Theft Auto was Howard's first feature film directing credit in 1977. Roger Corman, the renowned producer who gave many aspiring actors and filmmakers their big breaks, was instrumental in securing this opportunity. It was a straightforward arrangement, but it worked. In return for the opportunity to direct his own film, Howard would star in Eat My Dust, directed by Corman. This was typical of Corman's method of developing young talent, and it gave Howard the practical experience he needed to become a successful filmmaker. Howard and his father, Rance, worked together on the script for Grand Theft Auto, making it a really family affair. Because he could rely on his father's experience and assistance, Howard probably felt more at ease when he delved into unknown terrain thanks to their partnership. Although small in scale and money, it provided Howard with an invaluable opportunity to learn about the ins and outs of directing, which he had never encountered before. Even after this first venture into directing, Howard didn't completely give up acting. On the contrary, he managed to juggle both endeavors, appearing in Happy Days as previously as before and directing other NBC television movies from 1978 to 1982. During this time, Howard was able to refine his directing abilities in the relatively relaxed setting of television, which he likened to an apprenticeship. During this time, they worked on several important projects, including the 1980 television movie Skyward, which featured the iconic Bette Davis. It must have been nerve-wracking and enlightening for Howard, who was just starting out as a filmmaker, to work with such a famous and acclaimed actress. It gave him probably great experience managing on-set tensions and directing seasoned performers. The 1982 comedy Night Shift, which Howard directed alongside Henry Winkler, whom he had worked with on Happy Days, was Michael Keaton, Shelley Long, and Howard's breakthrough as a filmmaker. With this picture, Howard officially became a feature film director, paving the way for his subsequent triumphs. Howard gained the reputation he needed to take on more daring projects after the film was well received. After Night Shift, Howard's directing career really took off. Tom Hanks, Daryl Hannah, John Candy, and Eugene Levy were the stars of his 1984 fantasy romantic comedy Splash, which he directed. Critically and financially successful, the picture solidified Howard's position as a director worthy of directing blockbuster Hollywood films. The director's versatility and skill with intricate storylines and visual effects were on full display in this film, which managed to combine comedic elements with romantic elements and fantastical elements. The 1985 science fiction comic drama Cocoon, directed by Howard and starring a stellar ensemble including Wilford Brimley, Brian Dennehy, and Donna Mekche, was a welcome sequel to Howard's earlier hit. Howard had another critical and commercial triumph with the picture. Donna Mekche's Oscar for Best Supporting Actor was another proof that Howard could get great performances out of his actors. Howard worked with George Lucas again in 1988 for the high fantasy adventure picture Willow. Lucas had directed him in American Graffiti. Howard proved his ability to handle large-scale, effects-driven productions with this project, which was a dramatic change from his previous work. Even though Willow was met with mixed reviews when it came out, it has managed to acquire a devoted fan base and showcases Howard's eagerness to tackle varied and demanding tasks. The family comedy Parenthood, which Howard directed in the 1980s and featured an A-list ensemble cast Steve Martin, featuring a youthful Joaquin Phoenix, Diane Weist, and Mary Steenburgen. With nearly $100 million in domestic earnings and 2 nominations for Academy Awards, the picture was a smashing hit. The more successful Howard's directing career became, the more varied and difficult assignments he took on. Inspired by the real-life rivalry between James Hunt and Niki Lauda, he directed the 2013 sports thriller Rush. The picture, which had a successful Toronto International Film Festival premiere, stars Chris Hemsworth and Daniel Bruhl. Within the heart of the sea 2015, Howard tackled yet another historical drama. It recounted the 1820 drowning of the American whaling ship Essex, an event that served as inspiration for Herman Melville's classic Moby Dick. Chris Hemsworth and Cillian Murphy gave stellar performances, yet the picture bombed at the box office and was critically panned. In 2017, Howard became one of the most prominent directors in Hollywood when he became the head of Solo: A Star Wars Story. After Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, the project's initial filmmakers, departed over creative disputes with Lucasfilm, Howard was brought in to fill their shoes. Howard had to deal with the studio's expectations as well as those of the ardent Star Wars fan community, all while stepping into a production that was well underway. Howard was grateful for the chance to contribute to the Star Wars world and embraced the assignment with gusto despite the difficult production. There were many triumphs and accomplishments in Howard's professional life, but he also had his share of personal troubles. From his early days as a child star on Happy Days and the Andy Griffith Show to his adult career, he felt the weight of celebrity. There were new demands and obstacles to overcome on the path from kid star to adult actor to director. The stresses of Howard's personal life started to manifest as his work as a director gained momentum. His relationships, especially with his family, started to suffer under the excessive pressure to produce blockbuster after smash, on top of the long hours and intense concentration needed to direct big Hollywood films. A never-ending loop of work ensnared Howard. Never stopped striving for greatness, even if it means sacrificing his own health and quality time with his loved ones. A breakdown in Howard's emotional stability occurred as a result of this imbalance. He had accomplished much in his career and received praise from critics and audiences, but he felt he was falling short as a husband and parent. Howard had to face the real price of his success and reassess his goals after this epiphany. After giving it some serious thought, Howard decided to alter his strategy for his professional and personal life. The loss of genuine relationships with his family and friends was too great for him to make up for with his career achievements, he realized. Howard made an attempt to refocus his life after this realization, prioritizing his family above all else while he followed his dream of becoming a filmmaker. This change of thinking didn't imply giving up on his career altogether, but rather figuring out how to balance his work goals with his principles. Howard realized the importance of prioritizing the relationships that brought him meaning outside of his entertainment business job, setting boundaries, and being fully present with his family. However, under the surface, the legend has been secretly burdened by something else. The glitter and star power of Ron Howard's career belies an unbreakable tie to his younger brother Clint. This bond, formed during the peak of their youth fame and deepened by decades of shared experiences, is now confronted with its greatest test to date. Like his famously accomplished older brother, Clint Howard broke into show business at a tender age. Clint established himself in the industry while Ron's star rose to new heights, rising to the status of adored character actor renowned for his distinctive charisma and unforgettable performances. The Howard brothers have stayed close throughout their careers, cheering each other on and sharing the highs and lows of fame. Ron has often discussed the unique bond he has with Clint. The Howard brothers overcame the loneliness of growing up in show business by drawing on one another's support systems. Clint, according to Ron, is the rock that keeps him grounded in the crazy world of Hollywood by reminding him of their common heritage and the value of family. As Ron navigates this ever-shifting world, Clint has been his rock. Ron has always admired Clint for being genuine and inspiring, even if he has become a famous director in a flash. Is a source of unwavering respect for Ron, despite the demands of the profession. Their relationship goes beyond just work. The brothers have supported and encouraged one another through thick and thin, sharing in each other's joys and sorrows. They have been able to weather the storms of fame because to this mutual support system, which is a foundation of their relationship. Now, this fraternal bond is being tested to its absolute limit as Clint confronts a serious health problem. Unexpectedly, Ron takes on the role of a concerned brother as he deals with the prospect of losing his longtime companion and confidant. A pall hangs over the Howard household as word of Clint Howard's grave illness spreads. An uncommon display of vulnerability on Ron's part has been his admission of the emotional toll that this ordeal has had on him and his family. A real-life drama has engulfed the man who has directed innumerable stories of triumph over hardship, and there is no assurance that it will end happily ever after. While facts about Clint's sickness are still being kept confidential, it has been characterized as a life-altering and crippling condition. This new reality is especially harsh for a man whose life's work has been to make other people happy through his performances. Ron expresses his deep distress at witnessing his lively and active brother battling with serious health issues. Beyond the realm of the tangible, Clint's affliction has far-reaching consequences. As a guy used to finding solutions to issues both on and off set, Ron recounts a deep sensation of powerlessness. Ron is accustomed to methodically creating each scene to present a captivating story as a director, and he has complete control over his productions. But he is helpless as a bystander in this real-life situation, unable to intervene with a yell, a cut, or a scene reset. Due to this circumstance, Ron has had no choice but to face his own anxieties and weaknesses. The vulnerability of life and the significance of loved ones have been brought into sharp relief by the prospect of losing Clint. According to Ron, he and his co-workers used to spend their nights thinking back on their shared experiences on set, whether it was working together as kid actors or more recently. With the future still up in the air, these memories, which were previously filled with happiness and fond memories, now have a touch of melancholy. The Howard family's unwavering support for Clint during this challenging period is a testament to their strength. As Ron recounts it, the family pulled together again, putting aside their differences to offer consolation and support. Ron has not given up hope, no matter how dire the circumstances. He talks about how his brother Clint has been defined by his tenacity and resolve throughout his life and work. During this difficult moment, Ron is pleading for privacy for more reasons than one. He wants to protect his family from the public eye. It's an acknowledgement that getting away from the spotlight for a while is necessary for healing and coping. Ensuring that his brother's struggle stays personal rather than becoming fodder for public consumption, this request also displays Ron's tremendous respect for Clint's dignity. Ron thinks back on what he has learned from Clint along the years as he and the Howard family go through this challenging path. Ron has long been inspired by Clint's humor in tough situations, his unfaltering honesty, and his strength when faced with adversity. At this most trying time, these traits shine a light and keep Ron and his family going. In light of the present health situation, Ron has also rethought his priorities. Although he still has a deep love for making movies, he has recently put more emphasis on his connections with family and friends. Now that he sees things from a different angle, his future works may center on themes that speak to him more strongly than before: the importance of family, the power of perseverance, and the ultimate victory of the human spirit. Tell me one thing about Ron Howard that you like. Please inform us in the space provided. For more updates, like and subscribe to this channel.